any problem, if there's any problem of a technical kind that you might have, please write it down into the chat, and our colleague will try to help you out. Also, I would kindly ask the rest of you who haven't heard it yet to change your names. You can do so by clicking those 3 dots on your videos and change it into your name and the organization you are here on behalf of. And I think that with this being said, there's just one thing of this matter that I would like to ask you to write all of your questions into the chat, and throughout the day and the webinar, we will try to come up with some answers for them. Today's program will be, I think it's going to be really informing. And first of all, I will give the word to Maria Berzhinova, who is our program director at Open Society Fund in Prague, and she will introduce the Stronger Roots program and our partners who are working on this program as well. Then Jitka Housenblasová from Glopolis will introduce the concept of transversal collaboration, and we will have the first short time for your questions, and if needed, that will be followed by a short break. And then we will discuss the eligibility criteria and the selection process, and we will finish strong with your questions and hopefully our helpful answers. And with this being said, I would give the floor to Maria and let her introduce the program.
Okay, thank you, Misha. So hi, everybody, and welcome at our webinar. The Stronger Roots program aims at supporting civil society organizations and networks. We are striving to increase their resilience, and we are working to increase and strengthen their social capital as well. So, as you may know, we work with both civil society organizations and networks, and of different sizes, of different geographical scope, different thematic focus. And we support them with funding through grants, and also with expert and peer support, including consultancies, mentoring, workshops, and so on. As you could see in our call for proposals, we work with 2 different concepts: social-based building, where we are supporting organizations to build strong communities of donors, supporters, activists, volunteers, and other people and groups around them. And also with the concept network transversal collaboration, where we support networks to reach out to partners with divergent worldviews and interests and opinions. And we try to support them to work together to tackle important issues of our societies. And as you all know, this webinar will focus on the second pillar, as we call it, the network transversal collaboration. And we will explain hopefully everything that you would like to know about the current call for proposal for this transversal collaboration. And let me now show and introduce all our colleagues, because the Stronger Roots program is an international program which is implemented by a consortium of 4 organizations. You can see all our colleagues that are currently at the webinar, although the team grew slightly bigger recently. In the Czech Republic, and here with me is Jitka Housenblasová from Glopolis think tank. Hello. From Hungary, we have here Zsófia Makadi and Fanny Tuiner.
Yeah. Hi, everyone.
They are from New York Foundation. And from Slovakia, we have Petr Lenčo from Nadácia Otvorenej spoločnosti here.
Hello, good afternoon.
And also you can see my colleagues Pavlína Hořáková and Michala Lerhauptová from Open Society Fund Prague, or Nadace OSF in as is our Czech name. So we are all in one consortium. We are working together on all the call for proposals, all the events that we are organizing, and we will be here for you we will try to help you and basically support you throughout the whole call for proposals in each country. And last but not least, let me also present that the Stronger Roots program is funded by the European Union from the Citizens' Equality, Rights and Values program, as you can also see from our call for proposals. So this will be the main donor of the funding that we are providing. So this was just a short introduction. Of course, we will be here with you throughout the webinar, and you will have soon the space to ask any questions that you may be interested in. So with this, I will now pass the word to Jitka, who will first present more about the transversal collaboration concept and how we see it in the call for proposals. And give us just a second to share our presentation. It will be there soon. Yes, I think you should see now.
Okay, thank you. So I will be talking mainly about the network transversal collaboration in theory and hopefully also in practice. And in the end, I would give you one example of how it looked like in the previous Stronger Roots program. So we have two main goals of this call for proposals, and first one is to strengthen the collaboration between the CSO networks and the public sector institutions. And the second goal is to engage small or out of capital CSO networks more within the network collaboration. So these are two main goals, and I will touch it more deeply later on. Just for clarification, we refer to both of these groups as stakeholders. So I don't have to repeat all the time again that I'm talking about public sector institutions and small and out of capital CSOs. What is transversal collaboration? I assume some of may heard, some of you not. So basically, it's a concept that we developed in a Prague-based think tank, which is called Glopolis, as a part of the Stronger Roots program, and we define it as a process when CSO networks strategically engage with stakeholders which have very diverging or only little diverging approaches, interests, or worldviews in order to tackle complex and systemic issues that we are facing in our societies in Hungary, Slovakia, and Czech Republic. There are two ways how we can imagine that. I'm going to show you two scales now that we developed in order to have a better picture of what we are talking about. So the first one, the pink scale, shows the development of collaboration. It's a simplistic model, how it could look like. And the first one is about outside collaboration, meaning the network working with some divergent stakeholder. Let's say it could be public institutions, but doesn't have to be. It could be also company, business, or any other partner. But for the sake of this call for proposal, we focus on public institutions. So there are different levels there or phases. Start with no direct interaction between the network and the stakeholders, and it can progress through information sharing, dialogue, joint activities, or even partnership, and the ultimate is a joint vision or strategy. And the second one, also very simplistic model of how the development of internal collaboration inside the network could look like, with the members or with observers or with some allies or potential partners among the small and out of capital CSOs, is that basically the network is very homogeneous and there's no engagement of divergent CSOs, let's say. Divergent, I mean small and out of capital. There could be some involvement of those CSOs, but they are in a very passive role. Later on, they could be partially active, and the ultimate level would be very inclusive network where very different and divergent members or partners are fully engaged. The important thing to mention is that within this call for proposal, we don't expect you to be in a particular level of this scale. It means that either you have no interaction so far with the public institution or with the small or out of capital CSOs, and you would like to start some kind of engagement with them, that's perfectly fine. Or you are already in a you already had some joint activities with some regional CSOs, and you want to build up to building the stronger networks or strengthening your network. This is also fine. So basically, in any of the scale where you are now, it's okay. And also, it may not be so important what is your final stage where you want to progress, because maybe you think that the public institution you would like to approach is not ready for partnership, or it's impossible to have any kind of partnership in your national political context, let's say, for example. So then you will probably just aim for joint activities with this kind of institution. Yeah, and the same applies for the small and out of capital CSOs, because you think that there are small CSOs that would be somehow good to engage within your network, but maybe it's not realistic that they will become members. So then it's okay that they will just be some observers or allies who are only partially active and not really fully engaged in the functioning of the network itself. And the other thing, there is a difference. You can see the diverse and divergent, these terms. So mainly it's about the terminology, but just what I wanted to say that with diverse, we mean they are not so much different, maybe just they have different perspectives. And divergent, with that we mean that it's really very, very much different, the public institution from the perspective of what the network has, your network. So then it's also okay if you think that it's very, very difficult to engage with some, let's say, politicians who have opposing opinion on the topic that you're focusing on, then you probably should focus on someone who has only different perspective, but not really opposing, and it's what to get things done in your case. Yeah, I summarized few points. What is not transversal collaboration, and it's based on the previous round of Strong Roots program when we received the applications. So I wrote down some things that might be useful for you. Primarily, it's not about persuading others about our truth, but rather finding a common denominator or some shared vision or agreement. And this is especially relevant for advocacy networks. Basically, both parties involved, your network and the public institutions, or the small and out of capital CSOs should have some kind of benefit from the cooperation, collaboration, or engagement. It's not about target groups, but rather thinking about the institutions and the CSOs as partners, respecting their needs, their interests, and their limitations. And we emphasize that we're not really interested in one-off project, but we like to support long-term efforts where the network builds the internal relationship as well as the external relationships. And this obviously is not a question of 18 months, but will take longer. But within this project, a lot could be done, I believe. And it's also not about raising awareness, but rather about some tangible effects of the engagement. And also, I will be mentioning later on that it's really important for you to wait before the quality of the engagement rather than quantity, meaning reaching out to so many different institutions and CSOs. That's not this case. Always, I think the quality is much more relevant here. And yeah, when you'll be thinking about choosing the stakeholders, basically when we talk about public sector institutions, any potential or existing partners could be selected for engagement, such as governmental bodies, ministries, national parliaments, regional parliaments or other authorities, local municipalities, and other public sector institutions. And within the small and or out of capital civil society organizations. So these can be small and out of capital, or you can just select one of these groups. And you can engage them as new members, as I said, observers, allies, or any other forms of partnership. What is important that both of these groups must be relevant for your strategy goals and must be relevant in the regard that they kind of help you to reach the strategic goal or goals. Choosing the way of collaboration. So yeah, the goal of your project should really correspond with your long-term strategic goals, and we will be asking about those strategic goals. So we will be looking at the link, or the commissions, the selection committees will be looking at the link between those strategic goals and goals of your project. And the goals should be really connected to some kind of complex or systemic issue that you are trying to solve. It could be, just a contribution. We don't expect that the project will solve out some complex issue, but it should be one of the contributions leading to it. And the project activities should also reflect the approaches, interests, and needs of the stakeholders. Yeah, ways of collaboration with both public sector institutions and small and out of capital CSOs, should be really considered. So that means that if you focus just on one method, how to engage with the stakeholders, and not how to engage the small CSOs, this is not what we recommend, because we really want both stakeholders to be involved. And when you are thinking about writing the project or designing the project already, it would be useful if you try to answer the first two questions: whether the project really helped to progress your strategic goals, and whether the project somehow will improve the relationship with the stakeholders or advance their engagement, in the end of the project. Besides, we also expect that your project will contribute to developing some of your skills, how to effectively engage with the stakeholders, or how to build the collaboration with them. We also expect that this collaboration will help you to broaden your understanding of what you are doing, how you are doing it, of the context where your networks operates, and also improving the methods and activities that you are using while you are working with the stakeholders. And last but not least, we believe that also the project should contribute to some kind of internal consolidation of the network, and it should help you to strengthen the network itself. So when you will be looking at the list of the activities which are mentioned in the call for proposal, you will see that there's a lot of eligible activities which would be focused on this internal functioning of the network, how to make it better functioning and more sustainable. And I have some tips for writing the proposal for you, some practical things. It's really highly recommended to have an analysis written or mental of the interests of the stakeholders, and write it down in the application, why they should be willing to collaborate with you, what interests you share together, what are their worldviews and perspectives, and what are the motivations that they would like, why they would be keen to cooperate with you. Also, do some, invest some energy and time to really analyze their needs, like what is that they need, what they are struggling with, what are their limitations, what benefits they can get from the engagement or the collaboration with you. And it's really that not this engagement shouldn't be only formality, but there should be some practical effect in the end, so what they can get out of it. And also have a long-term vision of the collaboration in your mind, so you know where the project will lead you in the context of the whole network and the other projects that you have, and the strategic aims of your network. I think I already touched there that the focus on qualitative engagement rather than quantitative is highly recommendable. For example, if you are thinking about engaging some local CSOs, it's better to really trying to engage them deeper than choosing so many, like hundreds of CSOs and bombing emails. But rather really like thinking what would be the benefit they really need, what you can help them with, and how they can help you in the meantime. Also, if you focus the project and limit the number of project goals which are achievable in the given period, which is 18 months, we have seen that sometimes the applications involve so many goals that they are not really reachable within this time frame, and we think it's better to do 3 or 4 or 2 like really properly than having many of them. And the last one, you will see or you may already have seen the concept notes, the application. So you can see that there are some questions, and they involve sub-questions. So I just wanted to say that these sub-questions are really important, and if you see them, just try to answer all of them, because all of them are important. And in the end, I have prepared an example of one grantee which participated in the previous Strong Roots program. It's a Czech association of organizations working in penal affairs. So basically, this is the network of organizations who are supporting people in prisons and people released coming out of the prisons. And their goal was to reach some kind of a shared vision or an agreement with the state prison service. This is a kind of a ministry institution, and they wanted to improve the situation of the people, people, ex-prisoners, the people released. And they, in order to reach this, they really had to talk to the prison service and to somehow reach an agreement on how the policy should look like. And this is a picture of one of a family who are communicating or visiting online their partner in prison. And this is a very nice example how they used the pandemic situation, because in that times it was not possible, the prisons were closed. I mean, they are closed normally, but they were closed for visitors. So this association, they used this situation and they organized online meeting rooms or points where, for the people who probably don't have, for the families who don't have access to internet or the technology in general, so they could come to this room, to this point, and they could connect with the person in prison, and they could have a chat. So this is what really helped the prison service, because they were kind of stuck, and altogether, both network and the prison service, they use this project to really build up on collaboration and strengthen the collaboration. And in the end, they even signed a memorandum of future collaboration. So if you want to have a look at it, I have this here, a list of resources. The last one is a case study, which there's a described this example, and we also published 2 publications. If you want to have a look at it, they're available on our website, or we will send you the presentation after, so you can check it. The first one is more complex, more theoretical publication. It's called The Concept and Impact of Network Transversal Collaboration. And you don't have to read it whole publication, but if you look at the chapter 1 and chapter 2 and go through it, I don't think you can get kind of very well idea of what is going on when we talk about transversal collaboration. I hope so. And the second one is a toolkit with some practical tips, how to engage with divergent stakeholders, and it's mostly intended for those networks or even individual NGOs who were only starting this kind of engagement or collaboration. But a little bit of theory is also included. So if you don't really want to read out the first publication, then definitely you should check this one. And that is all from me.
Okay, so I would like to proceed with some questions which came through the registration form, and you might want to answer them now. First one is, do you also expect involvement of networks at regional level, regions and districts, or do you prefer national associations and networks?
Yes, I think we expect both. We don't prefer none of them, and we really appreciate it if regional networks will apply as well as the national ones. What is important is the involvement of local CSOs, but the networks themselves could be operating on a national level or the regional level or even local level, if there is something like this.
Okay. Another one is we are an umbrella for international development cooperation and global education NGOs. Would this topic fit in the goals of the proposal?
Yeah, definitely. I didn't say it, but we are open. Maria, I think, mentioned at the beginning, we are open to any kind of topic. So basically, collaboration, what was it? The humanitarian development aid, sorry. Yeah, it's definitely correct. And as any other topics.
Okay, there was another question related to the list of activities that are eligible. I think you covered that, but I would just like to show the people that they can read all the activities once again in the full grant call for proposals. So please go and have a look at it. And now Yitka, correct me if I'm wrong, out of capital, we mean out of capitals organizations based out of capitals, not out of capital as human or financial resources, right?
Sorry, I don't.
Yeah. I mean, we mean organizations that are based not in the capital city in these countries, but anywhere else. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Maria. And a new question which just hit the chat is, please correct me if I'm wrong, but did I understood right that Apply could only platform network organization which already has at least 2 years of activities? We are a community centers platform with 1 year of history. So how long does the network needs to be? How old? I don't know what I said, but how old? Sorry.
Yeah, as you can see in the eligibility criteria, and we will soon cover it in the second part of the presentation as well. But you can see that we expect networks that have existed for at least 2 years, because we in the proposals we would also like to see the activities, and we would like to support networks that are somehow already, that have some history and some achievements, that are able to work together, their members and so on. So yes, there is a condition of having 2 years.
Okay, thank you, Maria. I think that in this moment we covered the questions we had in the registration form and also those which came to the chat during the webinar. So I would suggest we take 5 minutes break, and then we will continue with the second part of the presentation, and that is, as you mentioned, eligibility criteria and selection process. And with that being said, I would say let's meet here in 5 minutes, so at 1:45. And I would like to thank you, Maria and Ditka, for providing us with all this information in the first part. Thank you. Okay, it's already 1:45. I will welcome back everyone, and since I can see Maria is back as well, without long overdue, I would pass the floor to her so that she can guide us through those practical things and issues, such as who can apply and how to apply. Thank you, Maria.
Okay, I will again share screen with the presentation, but in the meantime, while I'm doing it, also there was the answer and question in the chat regarding the community centers by Peter Nemeth. So as we spoke about it, and we will keep talking about the 2 years 2 years condition for existence in a while, but also I wanted to say that if there are some very, like, you know, if it is not very clear, you can also contact the country coordinator, and I will be giving the details, the contact details soon as well, because then it may need some very individual consultation about whether you are or you are not eligible. Okay. So let me now briefly go through the second part of the presentation. And the first thing I would like to highlight is basically, again, that you should apply in your country. That means Czech organizations or Czech networks in Czechia, Slovak in Slovakia, and Hungarian in Hungary. The main conditions are the same in all the countries, but still, of course, there might be some minor differences which reflect the legal context in each country. In Czechia, when I'm saying you will be applying here, so that means you will be applying by our organization, Open Society Fund Prague, or Nadace OSF. In Slovakia, you will be contacting Nadácia Otvorených spoločností, and in Hungary, you will be in touch with the NEOC Foundation. And our partner Glopolis, of course, is involved as well, not as the granting organization, but its main role here is actually to provide the expertise and the explanation and also to provide the support program in the concept of the transversal collaboration. So just wanted to clearly mention that you should be applying in your own country. We expect to support 18 to 25 networks. That's our expectation, but of course, the exact number depends on how big budget will each of the applicants ask for. And we have the total amount for all the 3 countries, 540,000 euros. All the projects that you will be applying with should last 18 months. And the reason here is that it's not only about the funding that we provide, but also, as I already mentioned, about the educational or expert and peer support program, which is an integral part of this call for proposals. Basically, what it means is that if you are selected in the call for proposals and you become a grantee, you will receive the financial grant for your own project. But at the same time, we will be in frequent touch in each country with the coordinators. We will provide you with further support, reflection, and also we will provide with up to 10 hours of individual expert consultancy to each grantee. What it means? It means that basically if you have any kind of challenges in implementing your proposal, or if you find a topic where you would really need some expertise from an external person, you can apply with us. We have a portfolio of experts, but we are also open to approach other experts, and you will be able to discuss and consult what you need with them. for up to 10 hours, and the reward to the expert will come from us. So this is something extra. It will not be in your budgets, but this is something extra that we provide as a part of this program. Besides the individual expert consultancy, there will be also a number of events. We will definitely be trying to gather all the grantees of this network transversal collaboration together. We will be sharing experience frequently, our challenges, our successes, and also whenever we discover there is some kind of joint need for learning more, we will be organizing regional workshops or group trainings. So this is all part of the, let's say, package that we are providing here. And also, it is necessary to mention, as we wrote in the call for proposals, please just count that these events, of course, need the capacities of those project coordinators or the network representatives that will be implementing the project. Who can apply? The pillar 2 is really meant for platforms, associations, umbrella organizations, and other types of networks. So other type of networks where there are more civil society organizations that work together. You have to be seated in Czechia, Slovakia, or Hungary, and the applying network or applying organization must be registered as a civil society organization according to the national law. And here 2 things should be mentioned probably. One thing is that please check the call for proposal in your local language so that you can see what kind of registration types you have to be. We mentioned specifically in each country what kind of registrations you may have. And the second thing is that, of course, there are cases when the network itself is registered. So if it is registered as one of these eligible types, you can apply as the network. But there are, of course, cases when the network is not registered as such. And in these cases, we allow a single organization to which, again, is registered according to the eligible types, a single organization to apply on behalf of a network. So it is possible also that these unregistered networks can be supported, but there must be a single organization applying for them. Then there is the condition to be registered or existed for at least 2 years that I've already mentioned. What is important for us here, again, you don't have to be registered for 2 years, but you have to have an active history for 2 years. We would like to see what kind of activities you were doing together as a network in the last 2 years, so that you are eligible. Another thing here is that, of course, we would like to mainly support networks of civil society organizations. So in your network, there have to be at least 10 civil society member organizations in your network, in your country. You may have, the network itself may have other types of members as well. We of course know, and we work with networks that have some civil society organizations member, some business entities, for example, some other entities. This is possible, but the main goal of this call for proposal is, of course, to support civil society as such. So that's why we have this condition. And the last one to mention is that the mission and activities of the applying networks must comply with EU's rights and values. That's a condition that you can see is, of course, also connected to what we do, what we aim for, and also connected to our donor, the European Union, and the equality Citizens Equality, Rights and Values program. So we will ask you to basically sign that you comply with the EU rights and values. And we will also ask you in the proposal to describe how you protect, promote, or raise awareness of these rights and values. And here again, what I recommend and what we wrote to the call for proposals, please read or check the EU Charter, the Charter for Fundamental Rights of the European Union. And you can see that it depicts a really wide spectrum of different topics and issues that your civil society organizations or your networks can work with. So it's gender, it's working with the disadvantaged people, working with children, youth, there is environmental protection, there is education. So please do not take this as it's not a condition that you would have to explicitly, for example, advocate for changes of the EU laws or declaration. It doesn't have to be explicitly working on the European issues as such. It can be, of course, but it doesn't have to be explicit, but it must be somehow promoting or protecting the rights and values as they are enshrined in the Charter. And one last thing to mention here is that one network or one applying member organization can submit only one application in this call for proposals. Let me just very briefly show you the non-eligible types of organizations, as we have again stated in the call for proposals. I don't think that it needs much of the explanations, perhaps only one thing that we already received some questions, and that's religious institutions. So of course, those organizations that are connected to some religious institutions, but their aim is to really aid, for example, disadvantaged groups or to provide social services. And if they are registered as the eligible types of organizations, so they are, of course, eligible organizations to apply or to be part of the networks. What is important here is that the registration type and, of course, the mission that should be aimed at supporting disadvantaged people or helping the society, not at promoting a certain religion or conducting religious worship as their main activities. Let me continue with just brief information about the selection process, which will be very profound. The most important thing for you now to know and to be aware of is, of course, that we expect your applications by 25th of May 2023 at 1 o'clock, as is written in all the call for proposals. And just to remind and to highlight here, the selection process is actually a two-stage process. So you will now be applying with brief concept notes. These concept notes will be evaluated and in certain steps that I will soon describe. And after we evaluate the concept notes, the selection committees will basically choose just several applicants to move or to continue in the second stage and to submit full applications. And this is something that we've done because we really want to encourage all the different networks to apply. And since we expect many applications, we don't want them to burden by filling really long applications. So now we really expect brief concept notes of your ideas so that we can check and the experts can evaluate whether they fit into the transversal collaboration concept. And only after with some selected participants, then they will have to apply or submit full applications, which will be more detailed. So again, the most important thing is please submit your concept notes by the 25th of May 2023. There will be administrative and eligibility check first. So we will check your applications and we will once again check whether you are really eligible applicant and whether you submitted all parts of the application as it is written. Then the concept notes will go for expert evaluation by evaluators or selection committees, depending on the number of applications that we receive. Then we will announce at the beginning of July, announce the results of the first stage, and then selected applicants will continue. They will be asked to submit full applications. There will be again a month to submit the full application, and a new round of again administrative check, selection committees, and external evaluation of the applications. And there also may be personal interviews with the applicants with the selection committee, so that we are really able to choose the best proposals. We expect that the final results, completely final results, will be announced in September 2023, and that the projects will start being implemented from October 2023. How to submit a concept note. So this is the stage we are in now. I already said the deadline, it's here again, it's the most important. The submission is online, but please again check your local call for proposals, because this is done slightly differently in each country, because it's you apply with these 3 organizations in 3 different countries. But what is the same is that there will be a brief concept note for you to complete, and you also have to submit some obligatory supplements, which is the last official annual report, or if you don't have it, a description of activities conducted in 2022. Then there is the last annual financial report. And again, if you don't have it, you can just present a statement of incomes and expenses of the last closed year. And then the last one is the network membership or partnership agreement. Again, if you have it, and if you don't have it, it's a list of all members and associated observer organizations. So here you can see the options, and we want to make sure that even the non-registered networks that, for example, do not have official annual reports and so on, so they can present something instead. If we move on, just very briefly, there will be a month for you to, if you are selected, for you to complete the full application. And just to let you know very briefly, there will be again some shorter form as a full application to complete with slightly more details than the basic idea, which will be in the concept already. Then we will ask you to submit a budget. So budget is really only in the full application stage, not in the concept note stage. And then there will be a brief table where you will just list the main goals, activities, and indicators and timeline. And one last thing, probably, or almost the last one, budget and eligible costs. So let me again remind that you don't have to submit the budget in the concept note stage. This is for later, for the full application stage. But still, when you are thinking about your projects, we would like to give you some basic instructions or some ideas, so that you know what you can actually financially plan as part of these projects. So the budgets that you would be preparing in the later stage can amount from 10,000 to 30,000 euros per project. And when I say euros, that means the grants will be actually paid and reported in euros in all these countries. What is very important is that we do not require any co-funding for your projects. So really, what you give us as the budget is what you can give, and you don't have to show us any proof of any other sources. If you have, of course, other sources for the projects, it is perfectly fine as well, but we do not require it. One or two more important pieces of information. The personnel costs, of course, can be included in the budget. We are very well aware that you can't do it without personal capacities. It's completely okay if you choose different persons to, and if you put different people working on the projects into the budget. It does not have to be one coordinator. That was one of the questions that we already received as well. So it's completely up to you what kind of people will actually implement the project. But in total, the personnel cost should not exceed 80% of the total budget. This is for us a thing that we are perfectly aware that people have to be paid for their work, but we also, based on our previous experience, know that you also need some budget for actually doing some activities. So it's not only about the personnel costs. Indirect costs may not exceed 7% of the direct project costs. So there is also a space for you to cover, of course, your offices as in other parts of the indirect costs. And last but not least, I will just let you know that already in the call for proposals, we depicted all the details regarding the eligible costs, the usual details that the cost of course, or the project should be cost effective, and that the expenses must be done, for example, in the project period, as it will be described in the later on in the grant agreement. So the usual things, but please do not hesitate and read all of them, just so that you can think about how you can plan the budget for this project. And very last thing from me, just want to again highlight that we will be here for you in all these countries. Please check the web pages, check the call for proposals. You can write us questions by emails, and also again, please check the web pages, because you can see that in some countries we also have more online consultancies, group consultancies in Zoom or in other online platform, or in some countries we also provide some phone consultancies at specific hours. So this is please for you to check, and definitely feel free to ask the questions. We will be happy to answer them at any point, and of course also now. So I'm stopping the presentation and we can move on.
Yeah, if I may to add something back to the eligibility question. If you are not really sure if you fill in the criteria of 2 years existence, because sometimes it really can be dubious whether you as a network are really functioning for 2 years, and before you were somehow also aggregated and you are not sure if it's considered a network or not, then I would really recommend you to contact the local coordinator, so you don't lose this opportunity, because then they can really discuss with you and hear what was the form of internal collaboration that you were functioning before. So this is one thing, and the other one is the number of CSO members. The minimum required is 10, but it doesn't mean that 2 years ago it could happen that you started only with 3 or 4 members. That's okay, but the number we are looking at now is current number of current members. So if you had less members 1 year ago, it's okay. It's important thing is that when you're applying at the time you have 10 members, CSO members, sorry, at least. And
Thank you.
also, sorry, and one more thing, if because sometimes it happens that the networks are consisted of another networks, which is could be it's a rare situation, but it could be we have a network, for instance, in Czech Republic. So then we are looking at the number of the member organizations of those network members, right? So then if your members are networks themselves, it means that you don't have to have 10 network members, but you could have less, but the number of their members should be more than 10. I hope it's understandable. Sorry, yeah, Misha?
Thank you both. I would proceed on to questions if that's fine by you. And I can see that one person is raising their hand, but I would like to go in a chronological order as the questions came. So first of all, as a network, we have more than 2 years of activities, but we started as one of the projects of our mother organization. We became independent in November 2022. Are we still eligible? So there is an organization that has conducted some activities, but formally they are independent just for half a year.
I think that was the question where I would suggest to contact the local coordinator. Generally, what we can say is that you don't have to be registered as a network for 2 years, but you have to have a proof of really active history of 2 years. So it may happen that the network is existing for 5 years already. They are very active, they are doing the things, and only 1 year ago they got registration. So this should still be fine, but we need to see that the history is active. What we do not see as eligible applicant is someone who basically got registration 1 year ago and already and also started 1 year ago as a network, as working as a network together. So this is not eligible, because we want to have those networks in that are really working together as a network. Yeah.
Thank you. Another question was, how many people from the supported organization do you expect to attend the workshops and conference? Can they be representatives of member organizations or just representatives of supported organization?
Yeah, it really depends on the type of the event or of the capacity building event, how many people will be required there. Usually it's, I don't know, up to 2 people per each network. And definitely, yes, we would encourage also people from member organizations to participate in those capacity building events. I think it's important to say that this capacity building events should be really should make of profit for the network. So then it would be really up to network to see or to decide, who would be mostly profiting from this type of workshop or training or consultancy, and select them and delegate them for this for the specific opportunity.
Thank you. Now, one more practical. In what language should be the concept note submitted?
The concept notes will be submitted in your local language. That means in Hungary, in Hungarian, please, in Slovakia, in Slovakian, and in Czechia, Czech language. Yeah.
Okay. Do we need to, does someone need to speak English from the participating organizations?
Yes, definitely. Because this pillar 2 of transversal collaboration is meant as an international. So we expect the coordinating person, the main coordinating person responsible, should be able to speak and understand English without a need to provide an interpreter.
It is mainly because of the events that we will be organizing and providing, so that all the networks in the cohort can actually share experience, learn from each other. So that's why we require the networks to have at least one person who can talk about the project in English with others. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Another one, Maria, that's probably for you. Can you tell us about the indicators? Are they compulsory? And do we have a template for the final proposal?
The template for the full application is almost finalized, and we will of course present it soon. But it's not. I mean, it will not anyhow influence on how you should write the concept note. The concept note is the basic idea that we need now, and all the other materials are meant to get basically more details. So the basic idea should remain the same throughout the proposal stage, let's say, and the indicators may be different. Of course, we will need some quantitative indicators as well. For example, how many meetings you have organized and so on. But this will be just one part of how we will together monitor and evaluate the project. I think for us, the qualitative indicators will be of higher interest. So we will be trying to learn together how you progressed with the cooperation, whether you started as just basically with your, for example, public sector partner, as just meeting them and just explaining, which sides you are on and what kind of interest you have, and you would be progressing in the collaboration, for example, more deeply, and you can end up with a joint project, where you will be working together very closely. So these kind of indicators we will be talking about. Of course, again, they will be kind of individual also in each of the projects, because the projects can be different. So this is just a basic idea now. Yeah.
Thank you. Another one is whether what as tax is an eligible cost.
So sorry, once again, what is an ineligible cost?
If VAT as a tax, ako daň z príjmu, is an eligible cost. Daň z príjmu, pardon.
I think this is written in and I'm checking it once again, non-eligible costs, deductible or refundable VAT. So if this is deductible or refundable VAT, it's among non-eligible costs, but you will definitely find these details in the proposals.
I might just add that if you mean it while procuring some services, it's not, of course, eligible cost. It's not eligible if it's not connected to the project.
Yeah.
Okay, now we have the raised hand. So, Mr. Daniel Kava, the floor is yours with your question.
Hello, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me. My name is Daniel from Umbrella, Platform for Development Organizations. Thank you, Michaela, and thank you also for the very useful webinar. I have a question concerning eligibility criteria. More specifically, the question is, since Umbrella is no surprise because of doing advocacy policy as our primary goal and mission, a association of legal entities. And now the question, hopefully simple, is whether the eligibility criteria, I mean eligibility of an applicant, are the same, similar across all three countries, like Slovakia, Czech Republic, and Hungary. If you are nodding, Maria, that yes, that would be a very good answer, because otherwise we would not be eligible, right? And when I at least pay attention enough to your presentation, we didn't find ourselves in the non-eligible applicants, as you put it on the screen, right? So my question is if then we are eligible or not. If you can please yeah, specify it. Thank you very much.
I think what I can say is that the type of the registration that you said is not listed as one of the eligible candidates. So I'm afraid I can just confirm that with this type of registration, you are not an eligible candidate for this call for proposals. Yes. But what I've known also that you can discuss your specific case, of course, with OSF Bratislava in Slovakia, if you have some other questions connected to that.
Okay, but if I can, yeah, put another question related to this one, because when we went through the conditions and criteria, eligibility criteria for a project in Hungary, and please, my Hungarian friends, correct me if I'm mistaken, because my Hungarian is very poor. We didn't find the same criteria, meaning that the legal and association of legal entities are eligible in Hungary for that call. So I'm a bit puzzled. You know, I'm not you know, saying that anything happened before on a purpose, but the thing is simply that we are really a bit puzzled whether we are or not, and moreover, if the call is specifically focused on platform organizations that per se, from a very legal status, are not only of a form of civic association, but obviously also in the legal form of association of legal entities, then I think my question is still pending, right? Whether the criteria are the same across all 3 countries, and whether or not we are eligible. Probably no need to add that, yeah, we are 20 years in existence, having 60 members, but that's probably not enough. So my question is, then, yeah, whether we are eligible or not. Thank you.
Yeah, we are definitely not judging the organizations based on the, you know, how many years and how much experience they have. I think it's not the case. The general conditions for the call for proposals are the same in each country, but as I said, there may be some slight differences because the legal context in our countries is slightly different. So we have other names for you know, different registration types in the Czech Republic, for example, and in Slovakia and in Hungary. So that's why we listed you know, the eligible types of registrations in each country separately. So that would be probably my answer now. So please check if in the Slovak call you are not listed as one of the eligible candidates. That means that you are not an eligible candidate, unfortunately. But if you have any other questions regarding that or comments, please refer. I would refer you to the Slovakia OSF Bratislava because this seems like a specific case.
Yeah, thank you, Maria, very much for answering my question, at least partly. In the Hungarian criteria, we only find a very broad flexibility, which is very good. So no legal forms named, but I, again, might be mistaken. In my poor, not French, but Hungarian. Sorry for that. And
sorry, may I
that's it.
Yes, please, Jofi.
Yeah. Hi, Dania. So I'm sure that, yeah, we might have slight differences, but I'm sure that it's the very same criteria. So we actually worked out the proposal together, so it should be very similar. And in Hungary, all associations and foundations are eligible. And we have some exception list as well. So I would also propose, as Maria did, to turn to your local coordinator, to ESA Bratislava, and see if you are eligible or not as a network.
Okay, thank you. I don't want to take too much time from you. Those be, yeah, well, it's a pity, and then we hope that for the future, you know, any future project and grants, because I'm still puzzled why this legal form was somehow omitted. Because it doesn't make sense, but that's probably not to be discussed here. But anyway, thank you for this webinar.
Thank you for your question as well. And yeah, as we said, please let's deal with this as a specific case, specific local case.
Yeah, and sorry, just one more note that for networks, if they are informal networks, for example, then members of the network can also apply. So it depends. I'm not sure if it's the case for you, but for other applicants, that's also a rule of our awful proposals.
Yeah, thank you very much, Zofia. Unfortunately, we are formal for the past 20 years. Yeah, and I don't think that this is a specific case, because such a criteria might affect also other applicants across our country that would find themselves non-eligible, which is a pity. Yeah, but thank you at least for trying to shed a bit more light on what we ask for. Thank you.
Thank you for your question or comment, and thank you, Zsófi, for joining us. I will proceed on another question, and that is that someone wants to make sure costs to cover trips for the activities and conference of Stronger Roots, whether they may be also included in the budget or not.
You mean cost to events that we organize? I think this is we will be definitely discussing that with those organizations that will continue to the second stage, to the full application stage. I think that many of the events will be online, so there will be not need to cover too many costs, but some of them will be offline, and it will depend again on the type of event, whether we will be able to cover the costs, the travel costs, or whether the network itself should cover them. So we will definitely be talking about this with those applicants that will be coming to joining the second stage. Definitely now in your planning as of the budget, you don't have to plan too many travel costs that should be part of the project. If you're just thinking about it now, about the basic idea, so I would suggest think about your project as such, and this will be really minor differences later on.
Thank you. Since we don't have any more questions in the chat, everyone who has a question, you may raise your hand and ask it out loud. And while you're thinking about the question, I will just sum up another comment in the chat. If you're looking for the structure of concept notes, it's online on our web pages of all countries involved. And if you're looking for the structure of the full application, we will add it online in a short time. And I can see that Petra Klimo-Zlatoshova already raised her hand, so please go ahead. Okay, I can't hear you.
It's off.
I have to. Can you hear me now? Hello,
Yes.
everybody. Sorry. I would just like to support the speaker before me, Daniel Kaba. and maybe asking if I understand our local coordinator is here with us. How is it with these eligibility things? Because these kind of organizations, what we have in Slovakia, they are basically they are all entities, associations of private or of legal entities. So this seems to be like for me like a problem applying for this call, because we really like miss this kind of this kind of states of sorry, I haven't spoken English for a while, so but I don't know whether
time, or if you
whether
need, we can translate it.
Sorry?
Take your time to formulate your question, or if you need any help, you can say it in Slovak and we can translate it into English.
Ďakujem. Väčšina tých strešných organizácií na Slovensku sú záujmové združenia právnických osôb.
Okay, so that majority of platforms in Slovakia are registered as this specific legal form, which I don't think I need to translate because of Hungarian, I'm sorry. Okay, go on, Pachi.
Takže ako by tam chýbala táto právna forma v tej výzve?
Maria, is there something you'd like to add?
I think, yeah, if Peter would like to add on that. Yes.
Yes. Hello. I think this is a kind of very country-specific program, so I think that I don't want to take so much time of it, but I'm noting the names of the organizations or the participants, so I will try to contact you after the webinar, because yeah, we should concentrate more on general questions here. Yes, the association of the legal entities was not listed as an eligible organization for this call. And there are some other legal forms that are eligible to apply for a grant. And yeah, that's what we can say for now. And it's not true that all platforms are registered only as this legal form. There are also other platforms registered as other type of NGOs in Slovakia. But I would say that we took already quite a lot of time for this specific problem. I'm taking the notes and I will get back to you no later than on Monday. I will try tomorrow, but the schedule is quite tight for me for tomorrow. But I will contact you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. I realized that Daniel wants to add something, so sorry, Christina, I see your comment in the chat. I just want to close this topic, so Daniel, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Michaela, very, very much. I'll be very, very brief, no worries. I just wanted to corroborate. I was basically wanting to support what Petra has raised, and it is very far from it being a country-specific issue. It is not. It is not. In the Czech Republic, there is a very identical legal form. If you want, I'm half Czech, by the way, and in Czech it says zájmové sdružení právnických osob. By the way, for instance, Diakonia, Czech Republic is zájmové sdružení právnických osob. So I mean, you know, of course, you can proceed as you wish, or as you before pre-agreed on. Here we are just raising this issue, and of course it's up to you as a consortia of 3 foundations how to approach this issue. I agree with Peter that in Slovakia some organizations, platforms are registered as civic associations, but there's only some of them, obviously. And the legal form, I just read in Czech. It is, by the way, the same in Slovak. Zájmové sdruženie právnických osôb. It is legally based on the civic code, so it has nothing to do with business code or with businesses per se. So we would be more than happy if you can somehow, after the webinar, ideally in a short time, reach to us and clarify on this issue, which is again not country specific and not minor for probably more organizations here or those who cannot attend this webinar. So thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you as well. I would also like to close the issue now because we spent so much time on it. But as Peter mentioned, we will reach out to you. Of course, there are some other legal types that are also not listed because we are also binded by the conditions of our donors. So it is a pity, but we can't be really. We are not able to list everybody, but we will. We thank you for raising this. We note this issue, and we will definitely deal with it and reach out to you.
Thank you, everyone. I would like to proceed on Christina's question that might be probably answered by Jitka. So, is it necessary to have 10 partners for the project? Is it possible to involve school foundations?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so partners for the project, I never mentioned that there is a minimum or maximum of a number of partners for the project. Maybe you mixed it up with 10 CSOs as members, that there should be a minimum of 10 CSO members of the network, but the number of partners for the collaboration, it's really up to you. And the other question, whether it is possible to involve school foundations. I'm not sure if you're asking about the school foundation as a potential partner. If yes, please, I would suggest you to contact the Hungarian coordinator because it's about whether this is a public sector institution or not, which I cannot now confirm. So I would rather recommend to turn to them.
Thank you, Jitka. I hope this question is answered. And since we've mentioned a couple of times that we have some country-specific questions and things we need to cover, I would like to ask Zsófi, Peter, and then probably myself to inform about the consultations we provide. So, Zsófi, would you mind telling us what you in Hungary have prepared as consultations?
Hi, everyone. So you have a possibility to write to us by email till the 18th of May. We will answer all your questions. And also we are planning a Q&A webinar where you can put any questions you have related to the call for proposals. And there we will have an expert from Glopolis as well taking part. So when now you go home and think over your projects and if anything comes up, you are very much welcomed. And you can see it on our website, neon.hu/társadalmi bázis. You can say that, or you can see the webinar registration there.
Thank you, Zsófi. Peter?
And for Slovakia, it's similar that you can consult your project until the 18th of May. The best way is to write down the questions on the email stronger.roots@osf.sk. So I will get back to you as soon as possible. You can also arrange a phone call or online meeting or visit our office in Bratislava, and you can consult your project upon the previous agreement, and there are specific dates set for these meetings, either online or in our office. And these dates are listed at the end of the call for proposal in Slovak language.
Thank you. I would add the possible consultations for Czech Republic. If you have any country-specific or any questions at all that you would like us to answer, you may write to us at stronger.roots@osf.cz, or you can call us on specific hours that you can find in the call for proposals, as Petr mentioned down below. And also on our webpage, we have all the possibilities written. And if you have some questions that you would like to discuss, we will have open Q&As on 5th of May and on 11th of May, again on Zoom. So you might just register yourself and then attend and ask us anything you'd like. So I think this is covered, and now I will ask if there's anyone else who'd like to ask any more questions or if anything is clear. Okay, and while we wait, I would probably ask all of you from Glopolis and NIOC and OSF Slovakia and OSF Czech Republic. Is there anything else you'd like to add? Okay. Probably my note would be, if you haven't found yourself as an eligible organization or platform to apply for the project in Pillar 2, you might want to check also the Pillar 1, which is social-based building, and it's slightly different. So you might want to think about what would you like to achieve with this program or project, and based on that you can apply. Just a little heads up, you can apply only in one pillar, and if you already attended any of the pillars and the Stronger Roots program before, you can apply only in the other pillar which you haven't attended or you haven't participated in. So if you've already taken part in Pillar 2, Transversal collaboration, I swear one day I'll find out the way how to pronounce it. You can apply for the Pillar 1, but you can't take part in the Pillar 2 again. And since there are no more questions, I probably won't take up much more of your time. Just let me check if I haven't forgot about anything that we'd like to tell you. And based on what we said, I would like you to pinpoint our web pages. If you have any other things that you would like to check and some call for proposals to find, you can check the web page of NIOC. It's niok.hu. OSF in Slovakia has the web page of osf.sk. And if you would like to find some information on Czech site, you can find it on osf.cz or you can find it on glopolis.org. In couple of hours or days, we will thank you once again via some email, and we'd like to take a part in a very short survey about this webinar, so please fill it in. And as Sitka mentioned, we will send you also the links for the publications from Stronger Roots about transversal cooperation. I would like to once again thank our donor, which is the European Commission within their SURF program. And since there are still no more questions, I would like to thank you and have a nice day. Have a nice day, everyone.
and we are looking for your proposals.
Yeah.
There is one question.
Sorry, yeah, I just noticed it.
No, we did not. There was a question whether we have the call for proposals published in English. No, we work through the local languages, so you can see the call for proposals in local languages.
And as I mentioned in the chat, we will add the presentation to the email as well, so you will get that. And also this webinar will be online, so you might come back to it when needed.
And the presentation as well, yeah.
Okay, so thank you. And if there's any problem that you would have with the call for proposals, just let us know.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.
See you. Bye bye.